How we doing, everybody? Matt Modi here with OddsJam, giving you some last-minute bets to lock in for Monday Night Football tonight. So I did already have some plays for this game, but odds are constantly changing. Odds are constantly on the move. And even right up until game time, there are profitable bets to place. So here we have some last-minute bets for Monday Night Football. So we're going to get right into it. I have a couple plays on the positive EV page. I have a couple plays pulled from the screen. So I have two plays straight up and one parlay for you guys. Number one, the first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is James Cook over 26.5 rushing yards. This is at plus 110 odds at DraftKings. So I actually already locked this one in, as you can see right here. Just placed it. $75 for me is 3/4 of a unit, which is what I put on all player props now. I kind of have my bankroll set on that as well as that's at $75 per player prop. So first things first, let me add this to my bet tracker. So all I need to do, you can click the plus button here. You can also add it directly from the odds page here. OddsJam has a bet tracker for completely free. Definitely recommend using it. Tracking your bets is incredibly important. You need to know whether you are profitable or not. And OddsJam has a really good one. So like if I go to my dashboard, once this loads, you will see all the stats and analytics and stuff from my personal betting history. All of these bets, everything is pulled from the OddsJam bet tracker. Every bet that I've placed since I became an OddsJam user is pulling into this bet tracker. As you can see, it's gone pretty well for me, up almost 20K since I've started using OddsJam. Have had a ton of success recently, all from positive EV betting, all from finding value using OddsJam. So anyways, the first play, James Cook over 26.5 rushing yards, plus 110 at DraftKings. So number one, it's mathematically profitable. OddsJam, the perfect line, which is this number right here under the no vig odds column, prices this prop to be at about pretty much exactly plus 107. And these odds, I like to call it the OddsJam perfect line. You can also view it as the true line of what a sportsbook should truly be priced at, right? Because they're pulled from the sharpest sportsbooks in the world. The sportsbooks that consistently do the best job at pricing odds feed into these no vig odds here. So basically, if you're thinking about it not from a sports perspective, but just from an investment perspective, the sharp sportsbooks, the ones that consistently over the course of time do the best job at pricing odds, price this to be at about plus 107. We are getting it 3 cents higher at plus 110. We are getting better odds. So basically, the definition of positive EV betting is when you are placing bets that you know as the sports bettor has a better chance of occurring than the reflected odds. This is exactly what's happening here. The reflected odds, plus 110. We know that it should be priced at plus 107. It's a higher win percentage than what plus 110, what DraftKings is giving us at plus 110. And then what you want to do is you want to click into the market and you want to compare the plus 110 at DraftKings, or I should say you want to compare the bet that you are placing, which in this case is the plus 110 at DraftKings. You want to compare that to the rest of the sports books, right? You want to make sure that the bet that you are placing is a true outlier across the rest of the betting markets. The reason why, sports books generally, not all of them are created equal. They generally do a pretty good job at pricing odds overall, but they're not always going to be perfect. So you want to compare the bet that you are placing to make sure that it is different from every other sports book, right? If we're comparing this, just again, don't even think about sports. Just think of things logically. DraftKings has that plus 110. Look at every other book, literally every other book. You can ignore Underdog because they're a DFS company, but we see odds range minus 110, minus 120, minus 112, minus 119, minus 110, minus 109, minus 110. No book has this below minus 110, and DraftKings is giving it to us 20 cents higher at plus 110. This is an insane value, a really, really good bet. And then when you're betting player props, you want to make sure you check the sharp books, which in this case, Pinnacle is a very sharp sports book, probably the sharpest given the heaviest weight. Prices it at minus 110. BetOnline, another very sharp sports book. Prices it at minus 109. That's good. Both of the sharp sports books are in alignment. This should be priced around minus 109, minus 110, something like that. The rest of the betting markets agree as well. DraftKings is a clear outlier here, which makes it a really good bet. So this is the first bet that I'm going to lock in for this video. Next up, this is not a player prop, but is still a bet that I really like. First half total going under 24.5. So this is something that I've already locked in, as you can see from the check mark here. It's at minus 105 odds at Bet365. So the no vig odds, the perfect line prices this at minus 106, so a little bit higher. And then again, look at the rest of the sports books. So some of them have it as a 50-50 outcome, right? Betfred, BetMGM, PointsBet, and looks like WinBet all have it as a 50-50 outcome. But then look at every other book. Pinnacle, -114. Circa, -117. Bookmaker, another very sharp sports book. Bookmaker has it at -119. BetRivers favors the under. DraftKings favors the under, as does Caesars and FanDuel. So the sharp books and the majority of books favor this going under, giving it a true line of -106. We are getting it at -105 at Bet365. This is another really good play. So here's one that I'm actually going to avoid, and I'll tell you why. So the play is Josh Allen over 45.5 passing yards. This is an example of a play that is not a good enough value. So something that I don't recommend, or that I'm specifically not taking. Bet365 has it at -110. DraftKings and BetMGM are 10 cents higher at -120. And then Pinnacle has it at -140. Pinnacle is actually the bigger outlier here, right? Caesars is kind of in the middle of the rest of the markets, but majority of sportsbooks actually have it closer to the Bet365 line, right? Like 10 cents off from DraftKings and BetMGM. PointsBet's kind of in the middle, 15 cents off from each of them. To me, I want things to be a clear outlier. This one, this -140 on Pinnacle, -110 at Bet365, not a clear enough outlier, so something that I personally didn't take. That's not saying that this is a bad bet, that this is unmathematically profitable, that it's negative EV. I just like to bet on things with a clear outlier, which is exactly what we see here in the James Cook one, right? Like you can see the difference between the outlier on the James Cook one versus the outlier on this one. So something that I wanted to make sure I highlighted. So I found the parlay using the OddsJam screen. Pretty simple, pretty nice. All you do, you just pick up, you choose a player prop, or a market, in this case, player passing yards, and it pulls up where every sportsbook prices the main line of this market. So I got a pretty good parlay on FanDuel, taking Josh Allen and Joe Burrow to go over their passing yard props. I got Josh Allen at 259. I got Joe Burrow at 277.5. So the odds have changed since I placed it. Joe Burrow is a little bit higher, but it's actually a better parlay in terms of likelihood to hit if you take it on BetRivers. So my official parlay for this video is going to be Josh Allen. You parlay these together. Josh Allen over 258.5 passing yards and Joe Burrow over 281.5 passing yards. The reason why both of these are good, look at where the rest of the sportsbooks price it, including the sharp ones. So Josh Allen, let's start with him. BetRivers prices it at 258.5. No other book has it at 258.5. Every single book has it higher than this number. FanDuel and FoxBet and WinBet have it at 259.5. PrizePicks has it at 256. They're a DFS company, so if you use PrizePicks, really good over on PrizePicks as well. And then look at Pinnacle, 262.5, and favors it going over. So Pinnacle has it priced 4 yards higher and favors it going over. And then DraftKings, 262. Caesars, 262. BetMGM, 262. Same logic for Joe Burrow. BetRivers, it's giving it to you at 281.5. Look at every other book. We see odds range from 280 on Monkey Knife Fight, DFS company. But after that, outside of that, the closest book is 283.5 at FanDuel. Pinnacle has it at 286.5, so 5 yards higher, still favors it going over, as does the majority of sportsbooks. So to confirm, you parlay Josh Allen and Joe Burrow to go over their passing yardage prop at BetRivers. Two really good plays. You could also take them individually if you wanted, if you didn't want to parlay it, if you just wanted to take them both individually. I decided to parlay it together just for a little bit of the higher payout, but regardless, really good play here. And that's going to be it for these last minute Monday Night Football bets. So if you're tailing, comment, let me know, and that's it. So appreciate everybody watching, and have a good one.